Here again with another Lucifer Season 4 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am, maybe rewatching or watching Lucifer, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description if that happens to be the case. You find out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you out there that are wondering, this is my first time watching the show Lucifer. So join me on the journey and discuss it with me and the man, the myth, the legend, the Lucifer fanatic himself, Crazy Coffee Man, in the comments section. With all that in mind, this will be Lucifer Season 4, Episode 3. The title of this episode is O Ye of Little Faith, Father. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. And it took me 2.5 days to get through this episode. My focus when watching Lucifer is not there. Now, if I just had to watch the show and not take any notes, I feel like I'd watch 4 or 5 episodes. But now, with taking notes, it sometimes can be difficult. But I got through it, finally. We started off with Lucifer and Father Kinley. Lucifer apologizes for not offering him a drink, and Father Kinley has spent the last 40 years traveling the globe in pursuit for the demonic, and you, Mr. Morningstar, are not it. He says Miss Decker believes that you are. Lucifer says, this is wonderful. Wait, let me rephrase that. Lucifer says, this is wonderful issues. I think I left a word in there, but whatever, that happens every episode. The detective dealt with her issues. So he thinks that Chloe dealt with her issues and now she's fine with things. And Father Kinley says whatever drove Chloe to Rome shook her to her core. God knows what she has planned for you. Chloe's cheerful. Ella went nuts with margaritas, and now she's not in the best shape. She's a little off today. She probably wouldn't even give Chloe a hug if she would have asked for one. Chloe tells Ella lately that she got clarity on certain issues. Enough! Stop calling me, Dan says, as Dan is pissed at Lucifer, and he's sick and tired of everybody making excuses for him. There's like a poster or a picture with like Dan's phone number and something, that in a cat or something. I don't remember what it was. I didn't exactly type that in there, and I don't remember. But he's mad about that, and he doesn't like the fact that everybody's sticking up for Lucifer when he's the one that knew information about Marcus Kane, or Marcus Pierce. I always say Marcus Kane, and he didn't share that information. And maybe Charlotte Richards would still be alive. But anyway, Chloe says he's been trying to be better. Lucifer checks in on Amenadiel, who's sitting at the bar. This is a point where I stop watching the episode for a day. And then Amenadiel tells Lucifer that Linda Martin is pregnant. How is that even possible, Lucifer says. Amenadiel says, how is this not happened to you? And then he tells Lucifer he is happy being here. Why are you hiding here in the bar? And Amenadiel says he has no idea what to do. Chloe tells Lucifer it's best that you don't drink too much. Lucifer finds his flask after thinking he had lost it. Wrong pocket, shall we? Susan Ochoa, a bona fide rocket scientist, is found dead. She knew her attacker. Any witnesses? Oscar, the victim's friend, might know more. Gang member turned rocket scientist. Lucifer tells Oscar he loves drugs. Any lying around? Lucifer says he meant what he said earlier. Chloe says, what do you mean? I don't care what anybody says about me. Chloe says she hasn't told a soul. A random woman has a session with Linda Martin. This is another point where I stopped watching the episode for a day. Yeah, it took me 2.5 days, if memory serves me correctly, to watch this episode. The woman talks about children being psychopaths. Time's up, as Lucifer has more pressing matters to discuss with the doctor. Run along now. Shoo, shoo. Linda would rather not talk about the pregnancy at work. He tells Linda that he caught the detective in a lie. Linda suggests that Lucifer feel Chloe out a bit. Ella, Lopez, and Dan talk about the victim. Charlotte is brought up. Ella takes her cross off and says she's not sure what she's preaching now. Chloe asks Lucifer if he's ever considered donating money to charity. with all the money that he has. Lucifer and Chloe talk to Anders Brody about Susan Ochoa's murder. Anders tells Lucifer and Chloe that he betrayed Susan and he won't say any more without his lawyer. Maze talks to Linda during her lunch hour. Ella calls Chloe and says that Anders Brody didn't kill Susan Ochoa. A mechanic has also been found dead that has links. Lucifer asks Anders what he desired. He tells Lucifer he's desired forgiveness. Susan was a model employee and passed every drug test. Anders hugs Lucifer. Chloe wants to meet up with Lucifer since her night's free now until they have to wait to get a warrant. Amenadiel stops by Linda's office, and Amenadiel gets Linda some baby books. Linda tells Amenadiel it's too soon. She's used to doing things on her own. Dan tells Maze no more knife playing with Trixie. Must be disappointing to Trixie. Dan's stressed about the case and waiting for warrants. Lucifer goes to see Father Kinley. He tells Lucifer that Chloe's carrying a vial, and Lucifer tells Father Kinley to take End of Days off their rotation. And I recently watched that movie for the second time in the last 6 months. Liked it a lot better the second time, which it's a movie that deals with all that stuff, which typically I would be annoyed with, but for some reason I really liked End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Gabriel Byrne, which came out in 1999. Father Kinley tells Bishop Hoffman that the prophecy is real and that the trap is set. Chloe tells Lucifer what she has planned for Lucifer. It might be painful. Detective, where are you taking me? Dan goes to Los X, I put Los X. I know it's called something else, but it's the headquarters of the former gang that the Ochoa and the mechanic person were a part of, and wants to speak to the person in charge. Maze and Dan fight off the gang members. Chloe takes Lucifer to a soup kitchen to volunteer. Lucifer tells Chloe that she's been lying to him. Lucifer tells Chloe that he knows that she's been meeting with Father Kinley. Dan calls and tells Chloe who the killer is. It's Ochoa's drug counselor, Oscar, who we saw earlier in the episode. Lucifer kicks down the door and makes it so Chloe can't get in. He roughs Oscar up a bit. And then we find out that Oscar actually wants that to happen. And then Chloe enters, and Oscar says that he failed. God forgive me, and slams his mouth, opens his mouth and then slams his mouth into a stake. Stake being like a wood that you'd kill a vampire with, and he's dead. And they find out that there's I guess I'm jumping ahead of myself here. Dan can't wait to do it again with Maze. Maze says Darker Dan will get you real far. And then Lucifer says that Oscar said, show me your true face. And Lucifer thinks that Father Kinley set this all up. And then there's like a two-way mirror there that somebody was sitting there watching all the events take place. Chloe says she knows Lucifer and her need to talk. And then Kinley and Hoffman are talking. Lucifer they thought that Lucifer was going to show Oscar his devil face, and then Chloe shows up. She tells Father Kinley that he's under arrest. Bishop Hoffman tells Chloe he'll testify anything you need. Amenadiel tells Linda that she doesn't have to do this alone. He wants to be here for the baby. And then Amenadiel asks Linda to marry him. What you're doing is amazing, as well as heroic. She says it's for the wrong reasons. She just needs someone to hold her hand, for someone to tell her everything is going to be okay. So then Amenadiel holds her hand and says everything's going to be okay. And then Chloe visits Lucifer at his penthouse. Lucifer cares that Chloe was trying to hurt him. She tells Lucifer she ended up in Rome and Kinley found her. At the time, it felt like, that at the time that Kinley understood what she was going through. And yes, I did lie to you because I'm terrified. How am I supposed to deal with that? She says she realized that Lucifer isn't the guy that they're talking about in the books. Lucifer shows her his devil face again. Could you accept me like this? And then Chloe's like, I don't know. And then Lucifer says, then I have my answer. Chloe leaves the penthouse upset. And then we see Bishop Hoffman come to the jail to talk to Father Kinley and can essentially have a confession with him. Enough with this damn prophecy. Hoffman tells him that he's been excommunicated. What makes him so sure, or I should say, what makes him so sure that Chloe Decker is Lucifer's first love? Of course she is. Who else could it be? And then we see a woman at Lux order an appletini at the bar. She enjoys it. This is Eve, who is the mother of Cain / Marcus Pierce. And I'm guessing someone that Lucifer loved at one point. Although what I'm reading, I read a little bit into it, that she really likes Lucifer. I don't know if that's the case on his end. I guess I'll find out, but that's what ends the episode. So, it was okay. It took me a couple days to get through, just because it's just hard for me to focus on this show. It is what it is. I'm going to give the episode an 8.2 out of 10, and my characters of the episode are going to be Dan and Maze. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lucifer and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button. It does help out. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Lucifer. What would you rate the episode? Whom would be your male? Who would be your character of the episode? Or male or female? Or just one if you want to do just one. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return as soon as I find out what it is that you desire.